Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage. So we've had a productive day here in the garage. Well, I have. Got a ton of stuff done. We got Veronica all cleaned up, just kind of pressure washed her real quick. She's been sitting here in the driveway for a couple years and she was gross. She looked terrible, but as you can see, she looks great now. We got the wheels and tires that were on Moby Dick on her, so she is fit for battle. We're ready to go. She's looking good, great, grand, fantastic, all the above. We got Moby Dick moved out of the way. We got the yellow truck, which we have yet to name. We got a little trash burning up there behind. Needless to say, today was a very nice, very productive day. Also cleaned up the garage a little bit, got our tools cleaned up, all that kind of stuff. And as you can see, we have a new table. Well, not new, but we have another table. That's because, well, I can't help myself. I want to see what's wrong with this thing. So that's going to be our objective tonight, is to take our 68 RFE apart, see what actually failed in this thing. I really think that it's the low reverse sprag, which I believe sits back here somewhere. But honestly, I've never taken one of these apart. I don't know much about them. Honestly, the nomenclature as far as parts goes, I'm not going to really know. So I really don't know much about the internals of these things. A 48, I've had a part. I know what is what. Not that I am a builder of transmissions by any stretch of the means, but I feel 48 I could rip apart and put back together. 68, I probably could do it. I mean, there's no probably. I could do it if I really wanted to, but that's where we go to our man at Muldoon's, John. We deal with him with our 48 for the race truck, and the reason for that is, could we take it apart and put it back together? Absolutely. But having that knowledge behind something with what we're trying to do with this truck is worth its weight in gold. That's why we go to John. Whenever I do something transmission related, I always, kind of throw it past him, like, hey, what do you think about this? And he will give me the pros and cons. That's why I love dealing with those guys so much. But as far as the 68 goes, tonight we're taking it apart. We're going to learn some stuff. So like I said, when I pull stuff out of it, I might not know what it's called, but just go with it. We'll figure it out later if we have to. But like I said, I think it's the low reverse sprag, which is in this area, I think, of the transmission. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is actually flip this thing up. I'll take our transmission mount off. We'll pull our pan and let the thing drain into my drain pan. Pull the pan off, pull the valve body out, and just kind of keep moving that way and kind of throw our parts up on the table as we get them out. So that's our game plan. Let's get this thing apart and see what took a shit. So our 68 RFE is apart. Yeah, so the case is very light without all the internals, but anyway, there was metal throughout it. I mean, there was just metal all over the place. Anyhow, got everything out. Very simple to take apart once you get the valve body out. Really, it's just a bunch of snap rings. I struggled for a minute not knowing where the rear snap ring, there's a snap ring that goes on this rear section of the output shaft. Found that. It's right down here. Once we got that off, this whole section came out. So the whole front of this thing looks pretty good, and as you can see, it actually does have a Suncoast drum. We do have built parts in there. This was a built transmission, once again, for its time. But our failure seems to be in this region. See, if you look at that part of the planetary, it's yeah, it's all screwed up, and we have whatever this is. I don't know if that's a shim, I'm not sure. The metal here around the, I believe our low reverse sprag is in here. That's what I thought failed, but if you look right here, it was rubbing. So I'm not exactly sure what happened right yet. Like I said, this shim or whatever it is, that's all broken apart. So I'm going to try and pull these things apart and see what I can find. But this was definitely rubbing. Yeah, I don't know why that would be happening. But this is certainly not good right there. That's probably why they weld these things up typically, which this one was not. Yeah, so anyway, I'll blow these two things apart and look. Also, here are the big clutches in the transmission. I don't honestly know what gear they are for or whatnot, but if you look, they still have all the ridges, so they're probably pretty good. The steels don't appear to be warped. This one seems like it saw a little heat right there, but nothing seems to be warped or anything. Everything seems pretty all right. But all our other hard parts, all our other planetaries seem good. There's some more clutches inside of this drum, I believe, but we haven't gotten that far. We're just going to take this apart and see if we can figure out why this thing failed. So we got the 68 completely blown apart. As you can see, the table is certainly not big enough. So first off, starting with clutches. All of our clutches, for the most part, look pretty good. I mean, as you can see, there's still the ridges on this. These look pretty good too. Like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs of this thing, but look at that. They still got the ridges. Now, when we get over here to these, as you can see, we have one at least warped all to crap. But these, yeah, we got a couple that are warped, but the other ones, that one doesn't look too good. As you can see, there's definitely more clutch material off of this side than that side. So this set of clutches is not in the best of shape. These big ones, they're in great shape as well. But our failure, I don't know why it happened. So pulled these out. These were in the back here, in the bottom part of the transmission. Like I said, I don't really know what all this is called. But this first clutch, as you can see, is just tore up. I mean, wow. But all the ones behind it are fine. They're all single-sided clutches. But look at them. They still have all the ridges and all that. Like, I mean, these things are still in good shape. I don't understand it. You know, why is this one so bad? Like saw on our sprag, obviously it was, something was rubbing for some reason or whatnot. If we look at this drum, there is this retainer ring, if you will, but there's only half of it. So we only have half of that ring. I guess that broke. There's there's pressure on this, so I guess it's like a pressure plate of some sort. I'm not really sure. I don't know if there's springs in there or what, but I couldn't really get that apart and kind of moved on after I couldn't. But I mean, there's metal everywhere. Here's our output shaft slash planetary setup. As you can see, it is screwed. This is the second one of these I've destroyed. This one was certainly by accident. Whatever happened got into these planetaries and just ate them up. I mean, these things are, wow, they are screwed. I mean, how this one really doesn't even want to hardly turn. It's even, wow. But yeah, so the output shaft section is definitely trashed, and something was rubbing. I don't know. It seems like there was something from the back of the transmission almost pushing it in, which I don't understand. Our transfer case, the input shaft was actually shortened, so that shouldn't have anything to do with it. I just really don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know enough about these 68s to know. But yeah, I mean, there's just rubbing everywhere. You see the wear here. Oh, and that's the other thing with these planetary. Oh, and here's another piece of, maybe that's a piece of the, that snap ring or whatever it was. Come on, get out of there. Yeah, just pieces of metal everywhere. Yeah, I don't know, but also, as you guys can see, these planetaries, the I don't know, pins that hold them, I guess. See how they're all sunken down, or like 3 or 4 of them are sunken down. They're all pushed through here. I guess they're all supposed to look like this one, but man, they're all pushed out and they were rubbing. I honestly don't know what would have caused this. It's kind of baffling, to be quite honest. I mean, I definitely thought this thing went bad, our low reverse brag. As you guys can see, hopefully, it spins just fine. And then going the other way, it doesn't spin as it should. It was rubbing, the face of it was rubbing, and if you look at these teeth, they were rubbing on something. Guys, we got it all tore apart. We kind of figured out what failed, kind of. I mean, that snap ring or whatever it is, that being destroyed, I don't think should have chewed these teeth up like that. But man, yeah, this thing is thoroughly whooped. Our Suncoast Mega Drum looks pretty good. If anybody's looking for one of them, let me know. I think that's in pretty good shape. I believe this is a billet input also. I haven't pulled that out yet, but yeah. So we have a mess of parts, and oh wait, this gear's screwed up too. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, there is a lot of hard parts in here. I'm so glad now that I didn't take it back to the people who built it, to have them just like throw clutches in it or whatever, because we've obviously had a hard part failure. I can't narrow it down. I really don't understand what was going on with the transmission. If any of you have an idea, please put it down in the comments. I'm very curious. This will probably end up going to a core, to our man at Muldoon's, and at that point I will ask him what he thinks. But yeah, I certainly don't know. I mean, like, look at the metal on the valve body. I mean, there's just metal everywhere. And this thing, I don't know. I just know 68 RFEs suck. So guys, it's the following day. My curiosity got the best of me, so I'm filming this new outro. I had filmed one last night with my complete, utter, not understanding why the trans took a shit like it did. So I sent a few of the pictures over to our man John at Muldoon's. Hey, have you ever seen a failure like this? And he said yes. So what happened, how I kind of gathered, I didn't really want to harass him too much, but he said the pinions were walking out. He says he actually gets a lot of cores in where the pinions start walking out, which is what we see here. As you can see, the pinion for this planetary gear is walking out towards the front of the transmission. And if we look at the other side, we can see all of our wear marks except for the one that actually stayed where it was supposed to. So what happened, what I gathered from this is we saw that everything was being thrust towards the front of the transmission and we were having a lot of wear. Well, these pinions walking out was just pushing on everything, and everything just started, lost all its clearance, started grinding together and all that. Now, the reason our transmission wouldn't move, I don't know 100%. What I'm thinking is maybe all these metal shavings and all actually clogged our filter, and from there it wasn't getting any fluid, so it wouldn't go into gear. I don't know 100%. Obviously our clutches, for the most part, other than a warped one and that one that was kind of like bare, the rest of them didn't look too horrible. But I mean, even if I was going to just change the fluid in the trans, I would have saw all that metal and we would have pulled it anyhow. Obviously, we have a lot of destruction in here. This is not the only set of planetaries or gears in the trans that are screwed. Last night also, I neglected to show you guys the pan. So this is the pan. Obviously, I have our pan bolts in there, but just look at the amount of metal in the pan itself. If you were wondering why that fluid looked the brownish, dirty color that it does, well, it's because it's half metal. I mean, it's just wow. So this is not a tuning related issue. This is not like a horsepower related issue. This is, well, junk factory parts issue, I guess I'd say. What John also made the point to say is all his builds, these get welded, so that way it doesn't happen. And like I just said, this was a hard part failure. There's nothing we could have done to prevent this. When the people who built it before built it, these should have been welded, but maybe that was not something that they had realized or anybody realized back then. I don't know. But yeah, if they were welded, we'd still be running this trans and we wouldn't be having this issue. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to impart that little bit of knowledge on this. Last night when we took it apart, I really didn't know what happened, why it happened or anything, but as you guys can see, it all kind of makes sense with what we were seeing, driving everything in the trans forward and kind of getting rid of all the clearance and then going metal to metal. So it's unfortunate, it sucks, it is what it is. We're here now. We've already made arrangements for our 68. This trans, looking at all the parts last night, I think I might have said it's probably worth a core. Yeah, it's probably worth a core case. Honestly, there's not many parts in there that were untouched. Honestly, if it hadn't stopped, and maybe because we were towing a little bit of weight, caused it to go a little bit quicker, but that thing, if it kept going for a little bit while longer, the case probably wouldn't even be good. We probably would have destroyed the case. So anyway, guys, I hope you found it entertaining. I hope you, well, I don't know if I want you to feel entertained by the transmission being destroyed, but it is an impressive failure, that I can admit that. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. So please subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck. Hopefully it's not 68 RFE related.